What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the channel. My name is Cole Mendenhall, and this is Formula CM. Now today, guys, beside me is a 2012 Infiniti FX35. Now, it might just be because my mom did own one of these, and it was one of my favorite first cars to drive. I have always been absolutely in love with the FX35. Now, if you guys go all the way back with me, way back to 2003, when I was a measly 6 years old or so, if you remember that, Infiniti gave us the FX35. Then that lasted all the way up until 2009, when Infiniti gave us the second generation FX35. And I must say, they did an incredible job on this second generation.
Guys, before we go any further, please smash that subscribe button down below. I would truly appreciate it, and I would love for you to join me on this new journey with my channel. And again, if you guys do enjoy the content that you see here today, please go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the newest videos that we will be releasing here on Formula CM.
Now, guys, let's get back to the vehicle. Now, as we start at the very front, you will notice this nice black chrome double arch front grille. It's a new styling feature, and I'm not sure why they needed so many words to describe it, but I do really love this grille. Also, new for the second generation, HID projection headlamps are now standard across the model range. And I know in 2019, HID does not sound that impressive, but when this thing came out, these were incredibly strong headlamps. Now, guys, as we move to the side of the vehicle, one of the first differences that you will notice are these very nice air vents. Now, I'm not sure that Infiniti wanted to be ahead of the trend, but they definitely seem to be when it comes to fake air vents for styling effects that don't actually do anything. I'm a big fan of the air vents, but when they're completely useless, it's getting to the point now that it's driving me kind of crazy. But I do think they look quite good. Now, guys, as we move around to the rear of the beautiful Infiniti FX35, you will notice one of the first major changes is that LED taillights are now standard across the board. Also, you get a nice, easy, one-touch power liftgate. Tap the button, everything goes up. Reach right up under here, you have control from there. Also, up here in the cabin, you will see that you also have complete control of your liftgate. And one of my favorite things about all Infinitis, and I'm sure many of you understand, is the sound that X6 makes. But you know what I think will do a whole lot better job explaining that than I will? How about we listen to this thing purr? Now, guys, underneath the hood of this 2012 Infiniti FX35 is a 3.5-liter V6 making 303 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Now, that might not seem astronomical by today's standards, but to an SUV in 2012, that's incredible, and it still, despite this vehicle's 4,100-pound curb weight, allows this thing to dart to 60 in 6 seconds flat. Now, it does help that it has a very quick 7-speed transmission that this engine's made it to. But guys, 6 seconds flat, there's a lot of sports cars that don't even compete with that if you go back to the same year. That's incredible. But now, we know what's under the hood. Is it fun to drive, and does it drive as well as it sounds?
Now let's go on a little drive and see how this thing goes. Now, as much as I do love the look of this thing and some of the performance aspects of it, the feel of it when you're driving is the reason that I love this SUV so much. Now, I'm not going to say it's the fastest in the world, and I'm not going to say it has the most horsepower, or it's necessarily even the sportiest, but it's just, it feels so good and so fun to drive. It weighs 4,100 pounds, and yet it's still nimble. The steering still feels mildly direct. It's not, there's not a whole lot of play. There's not a whole lot of annoying body roll. It just kind of, yes, it's an SUV, but wherever I want to go, the car just goes. And if I need to get on the highway, I can. One of the things that I will knock about this car is that the response isn't always there. Sometimes you try to accelerate, you pin it down, and it's just not there, and then finally, boom, it's there. And the other thing that I also don't understand, it might be because this car is getting a little older now, and it hasn't necessarily seen a full tune-up in a little bit, but it's just the pep isn't always there. Sometimes you put your foot down and you just feel it. You're going. I don't know if that's the transmission response. I don't know if that's just this thing's an older engine in a car that has well over 130,000 miles on it now. Either way, I just know that sometimes you hit it and you just feel it. You just feel the torque, you feel the power, and you're going. You're having a good time. Now, guys, we've talked about the performance, we've talked about the looks that have changed. Now, what about the interior on this thing? Because let's be honest here, most of the time, especially when you're buying an SUV, the chances are you have a family or you're going to be driving a lot, or there's just a certain practical nature that you need for this vehicle. So, no, it's not going to be the most practical of all the things in the mid-size market for this era. But when it comes to tech and the feeling and the things that you do get, of course, it's very in line with BMWs, and that's a very sincere compliment, in my opinion, to Infiniti, because they truly did an exceptional job with this car. I mean, it just starts with the very nice leather, and you have the Infiniti logo stitched into the seat, not to mention the fact that, of course, you have power seats standard, and as you work up here onto the steering wheel, just like most cars, it's not a new feature per se, but you have all your controls for your cruise control. You then have your Bluetooth control, so if you want to hang up, turn the volume up, hang up on somebody, I mean, whatever you want to do, you have it right here at your fingertips. As we move up past the steering wheel, you just have such a clean display there. Your RPMs are just there in sight in the center. It'll tell you if you need maintenance, what's wrong, if something's showing an error over there. You have a very easy to see speedometer. And then, of course, down here, you just have more controls. You have your vehicle dynamics control, the controls for your rear liftgate. Of course, you have power windows, power locks. As you move to the center is where the tech truly starts to show up, because, of course, it's a 2012, but you start with your push to start right here beside the dash. And then you move up, you have navigation, and then you have a whole other slew of information that you can gather just by scrolling through that screen. Now, the craziest thing is, when you go to your backup camera, yes, it's a 2012, so the fact that it has a backup camera already sort of speaks volumes to the vehicle. But it not only has a backup camera, it has a 360 camera where you can see your sides. It has a bird's eye view so you can look down upon the car, which is incredibly useful. Then, not only does it have all of those things, it also has the sensors that are telling you when you get too close to something. So you're about to hit something, it's flashing green, then it gets yellow, then of course it's red because you get extremely close. So you have all of those features, not to mention as you work your way down, I know some people don't like it. Some people think it's corny. I think it's just a nice touch. As you move down, you have an analog clock right here in the center, and I just think it adds some class. It makes it look a little bit better. And then you just continue working your way down. You still have all of your normal controls when it comes to using your radio, whether you want to tune it or turn your volume up or slip your CD in. You still have all of that. And as you move down, the tech just keeps coming. You have your dual climate control, everything just right there. Then you move it down, you have snow mode here. Of course, your gear selector, you can put park, reverse, neutral, drive, just like every other car. You have your manual mode there. Fun fact, if you want to use sport mode, when you just slap it over into manual mode, don't hit up on the gear lever, don't hit down. That will actually put it in sport mode. But you'll also notice you have heated and ventilated seats. Now, this is a 2012. There are a lot of cars now that still don't have heated seats, much less heated and ventilated seats. So the technology that this thing is packed with, for it to be a 2012, is incredible. And I have to say, Infiniti, you did an exceptional job with this vehicle. And if you are considering it for the money, I would say go ahead and pull the trigger, because it is a great SUV.